You are watching this because you believe you are awake. You believe there is a screen in front of you. You believe your body is somewhere in the real world. You believe there was a moment before this one, and there will be a moment after it. But here is the uncomfortable question. What exactly makes you so sure? Not what makes you feel sure, not what makes this seem normal. What proves it? Because last night, while you were dreaming, you were probably just as convinced. You may have spoken to people who were not there, walked through rooms that had never existed, remembered events that never happened, accepted impossible things with the calm confidence of someone checking the weather. And then you woke up. Only after the dream collapsed did it become obvious. Only from the outside did it look strange. Inside the dream, it was simply life. That is the problem. Reality does not come with a label. There is no watermark in the corner of your vision that says, awake. There is no notification from the universe telling you, this is the base layer. You only have experience, and experience can lie. Your brain does not show you the world directly. It builds a model. Right now, light is hitting your eyes, pressure is touching your skin, sound is vibrating through the air, signals are traveling through nerves. Your brain takes this electrical noise and turns it into a room, a body, a voice, a self. It feels instant. It feels obvious. But it is construction. You are not looking at reality. You are living inside your brain's best guess. Most of the time, that guess is useful. It helps you recognize faces, cross streets, pour water into a glass, answer when someone calls your name. But useful is not the same as true. Your vision already proves this. There is a blind spot in each of your eyes where the optic nerve connects to the retina. You do not see two dark holes floating in the world because your brain fills them in. It takes the surrounding pattern and quietly invents the missing part. You never notice the lie because the lie is smooth. Your sense of time stretches and shrinks. Your memory rewrites itself every time you recall it. Your mind can hear your name inside random noise. And still, you call this certainty. Dreams exploit the same weakness. When you dream, your brain does not need the outside world to create a world. It can generate space, people, danger, history, emotion, and even a version of you who believes all of it. In a dream, you can find yourself inside a school you never attended, speaking to someone who died years ago, late for an exam in a subject that does not exist. The details change. The feeling remains. This is happening. That feeling is not proof. It is part of the dream. Sometimes dreams are so convincing that waking up is not enough. You wake into another dream and think the first one is over. You check your phone, you get out of bed, you begin your day. Then something small breaks. A clock refuses to hold the same time. Words on a page shift when you look back. And you wake up again. False awakenings are disturbing because they attack the one thing we trust most, the feeling of having returned. You can be fooled not only about where you are, but about the fact that you have stopped being fooled. So, if a mind can dream that it has woken up, then "I feel awake" cannot be the final answer. Lucid dreamers know this better than anyone. They train themselves to ask, "Am I dreaming?" They count fingers. They look at text twice. And sometimes, inside a dream, the test works. The impossible happens. The letters rearrange themselves. The dreamer realizes, this is not waking life. But notice what that means. The mind was already inside a complete world before suspicion appeared. The dream did not announce itself as fake. It waited to be questioned. So, what about now? You might say this world is too stable, dreams are fragmented, this has rules, the room stays in place, the past connects to the present. You can return to the same street tomorrow and find the same buildings. Waking life is usually more consistent than dreams. But consistency is not absolute proof. It is only a feature of the system you are inside. A dream can borrow memory to make itself feel older than it is. You do not remember entering the dream. You simply find yourself already there. Strangely, the same is true right now. You do not remember the beginning of consciousness. You woke up inside a life already in progress. You inherited all of it from memory. And memory is not a recording. It is reconstruction. Every time you remember yesterday, your brain rebuilds yesterday. It fills gaps, smooths contradictions, and adds emotion from the present. You trust the result because it arrives wearing the costume of the past. But how would you know if part of it had been edited? You cannot step outside your mind and compare memory to the original. This is why the old philosophical problem refuses to die. Centuries ago, Descartes asked how he could know that he was not dreaming. He realized that many things he believed while awake had also appeared in dreams. The senses could be deceived. The body could be imagined. The world could be doubted. He searched for something that could not be taken away by illusion. His answer was not, "The world is real." It was more basic. If I am doubting, then something is doubting. If I am being deceived, then there must be something to deceive. If this is a dream, there is still an experience occurring. The first certainty was not reality. It was consciousness. You might be wrong about the room. You might be wrong about your body. You might be wrong about the history that led you here. But the fact that something is being experienced right now is harder to dismiss. That is a strange comfort. It does not prove you are awake. It only proves that there is a witness to the question. Then the doubt becomes sharper. Imagine that you are a brain in a vat. No body, no world, just a brain, kept alive by machines, receiving perfect electrical signals. The machines feed you the experience of a normal life: coffee, cold air, childhood, a body, a self. From the inside, how would you tell? If the illusion were perfect, every test you performed would also be part of the illusion. The ruler, the friend, even the paper proving you were not deceived would be part of the same system. Any evidence you gather must appear inside your experience. But experience is the very thing being questioned. You cannot use the dream as proof that you are not dreaming. And yet, you still have to live. That is where the question becomes less like a puzzle and more like a mirror. In practice, we do not believe in reality because we have solved philosophy. We believe in reality because we have to act. You eat because hunger returns. You sleep because exhaustion builds. You look both ways before crossing the street because whatever this is, it has consequences. Even if reality is a model, the model pushes back. Pain hurts. Time passes. Choices accumulate. The world resists your wishes. Dreams usually bend around the dreamer. Waking life does not bend so easily. That resistance is one of the best reasons to trust it. Not because it proves everything, because it makes this experience shared, durable, and costly. If this is a dream, it is a very stubborn one. But even that answer leaves something unresolved. What if being awake is not the opposite of dreaming? What if waking life and dreams are different modes of the same machine? In sleep, the brain turns inward and lets memory, fear, desire, and imagination build a world. When awake, the brain turns outward. The senses correct the model. The world becomes harder to ignore. But in both cases, you are still inside a model. The difference is not that one is constructed and the other is not. The difference is how tightly the construction is tied to something outside itself. So the real question may not be, am I dreaming? It may be, how much of what I call reality is my mind adding? Because even while awake, you dream parts of the world. You dream other people's motives. You dream the future and call it worry. You dream the past and call it regret. You do not just perceive life, you narrate it. Two people can stand in the same room and live in different worlds. One sees an opportunity. One sees a threat. The facts may be shared. The reality is not. This is why dreams feel so intimate. They show you what the mind does when nobody is watching. Then, when morning comes, you say it was only a dream. But maybe that phrase is too simple. Only a dream. As if dreams were nothing. As if they did not come from the same mind that is hearing these words now. as if the waking world were not also filtered through belief, memory, attention, and desire. Maybe the dream is not an error. Maybe it is a clue. A clue that certainty is not the foundation of your life. Trust is? You trust your senses although they edit. You trust your memory, although it rewrites. You trust other people, although you never enter their minds. You trust tomorrow, although you have never been there. You wake up every morning into an act of faith so ordinary that you stopped noticing it. And maybe that is what makes this question frightening. Not the possibility that life is a dream, the possibility that waking life was never as solid as you assumed. So look around. Not dramatically, not with panic, just carefully. Notice how immediate everything feels, the texture of sound, the weight of your body, the quiet confidence of the present moment. This is exactly how reality would feel. But it is also how a perfect dream would feel until it ended. Maybe you are awake. Probably you are. But the word probably is doing more work than you think. And if tonight you dream of watching a video, sitting in a room, wondering whether you are awake, you may feel this same certainty. You may smile at the question and think, of course this is real. Then something will shift. A shadow will move incorrectly. A memory will fail to connect. And from somewhere beyond the walls of that world, another version of you will begin to wake. When that happens, the dream will not become strange. It will become obvious. And that is the part you should remember. You rarely know you are dreaming while the dream is still holding you. You know later. After the world disappears,